It is hot outside, girls are wearing skirts, and your balls are sweaty, so you know what's up, the Steam Summer Sale. So this is a great time to go through all the best deals, what are the best sim racing games. This is also a good video for if you're completely new to sim racing and you're checking what game to buy, what game to start out with. And even if you watch this video later on, sales do come back every other month or so. Just check out steamdb.info and look for the game you want. You will see how often and for how much a game is on discount. Please do not use CD key websites because all they do is help fund credit card theft. Seeing that a sim rig costs at least €300, the games are not really the expensive part here. So okay girls, let's go shopping! So what is each game's negative and positive? Let's have a quick summary of what I and the community generally think. We look at 6 categories: driving physics, including force feedback, graphics, including like optimization, how well does it run, sounds, multiplayer races, which means how many races are available in the multiplayer. Like, are they just a bunch of idiots, or do you actually have some nice clean racing? And then lastly, ease of use. Does it have an intuitive menu, loading times, can you learn the driving style pretty quickly or not? rFactor 2! The Freak Show! So we're going from worst to best. At the very bottom of the list is actually something that we have to not recommend, which is iRacing on Steam. Yes, it looks a lot cheaper for the first year, but actually then when you continue later on, you would want to do that via the iRacing website itself because it will be cheaper, there will be better deals. Plus there are some other issues known around this, so just don't do that. And if you're new into sim racing, I don't think iRacing is necessarily the game to start with. The physics are a bit weird, it's known to be too slidey, quite difficult. Graphics are, a 7, they're okay. But yes, it does look very old. It has the best multiplayer races system, but it's not something you want to start out with, because sim racing is difficult. It's better to just first learn it through other games, through cheaper games, because the big thing is that iRacing is very expensive. Then 9th place, F1 2020. It's not a game that I play much, mainly because the driving physics are just not that complex. It's not really a sim racing title, I would say. Therefore, it's just not too much fun for me, but if you're really into F1 and you like a good single-player career mode with some story, then this is actually very much for you. 8th place, rFactor 2. Now, this is just, this definitely has the worst score for ease of use. Loading times are insane, menu not very intuitive. It is praised for its force feedback and the physics. It does look one of the worst. It's a pretty old game. And there's no multiplayer community except for league racing. It's just not something I would recommend for beginners. On the 7th place, Automobilista 2. Now, I'm gonna get some flack for this, but just the physics to me, it still drives like Project Cars 2, which is not great. It's weird on the braking. However, the graphics are like one of the best, especially when you consider how well it runs for how it looks. The only other game that looks as good is Assetto Corsa Competizione, but that is not as well optimized. And unfortunately, the multiplayer community is not that big, there's not too many races available. However, it is easy to use. Also, the content is very different from other titles, as it's a lot more Brazil focused than Europe focused. Then 6th place, not completely sim racing, but so much fun, Wreckfest for $14.99. I think it's a great deal. You owe it to yourself to just have a fucking beer, punch yourself in the face and enjoy this game. Because actually the driving physics are pretty respectable. I give it a pretty high score for multiplayer races as well, because there's just a lot of idiots playing this game. I mean that in the most respectful sense, idiots. Graphics, well, it gets that high score because of how the cars can actually brake. It's very detailed, almost like BeamNG, and how you can just run into a bunch of tires and they'll fly all around you. It's a really cool game, you must try this. Although it's not my first sim racing recommendation, obviously. Then 5th place, Project Cars 2. Project Cars 2 has been forgotten a little bit because of Project Cars 3 was just so different, very arcade. But Project Cars 2 for $8.99 is still a great deal for beginners because you get a whole lot of content. Just the driving physics, I am not a fan at all. It's way too slidey for me. As it runs on the same engine as Automobilista 2, well, actually the other way around. Yeah, once again, great graphics. and well optimized. You will not really find multiplayer races, but it has a nice single player career mode. Project Cars 2 is not the most serious sim racing title out there for sure, but for beginners I think you have a lot of content, a great single player career mode, so you can just get yourself acquainted with driving sim games and then move on to better things. 4th place, Assetto Corsa Competizione. Well, the best GT3 experience I think, and GT4, but still very limited in the choice of cars. Great graphics, great sounds, quite a good multiplayer community. This is definitely one to pick up. However, do know that it's not the easiest game to get into. The driving is very complex. It's not easy to keep a car on track, and you do need a very good PC and able to run and get some actual nice graphics with some good FPS. 3rd place, RaceRoom Racing Race Experience with the race in the RaceRoom Racing Race. Did I say race? This game is pretty old, it looks old too, but actually recently has been on the come up again because of its great multiplayer ranked racing. This is basically your cheap iRacing at the moment, and I enjoy the physics way more. Also, it has the best engine sounds. The one big disadvantage for RaceRoom is its weird system of how to buy stuff. So my recommendation is go try it out for free. You can even try a ranked race. Usually there's a race plus track combo that is free content in the ranked rookie races. So go try that out, and if you like it, then I would actually recommend you go to this website, buy yourself, if you really like it, then just buy yourself 10,000 virtual race points, because you will spend that at some point. You will get those points into this store, and yeah, best deal is just look at one of these packs, because those are the cheapest. Choose accordingly, like how much do you want to spend, just spend that. Get the starter, pro or premium pack. Or perhaps if you really like this ranked races, just get yourself a lot of VRP, as much as you want, and then buy the track or car that you need in order to be able to get into those races that you want to get into. Then 2nd place, Dirt Rally 2 Game of the Year Edition. And yes, you do want to spend that extra €5 for the Game of the Year Edition, because it comes with a lot more content. You just owe it to yourself to get this, because all round it's the best rally game out there. It may not be as realistic as Richard Burns Rally, we know, but all round good graphics, great sound. It's super easy to get into, enjoy yourselves for even just 15 minutes, and the physics, while maybe a little bit on the arcade side, they're just a lot of fun. Now you might also see Dirt Rally 1, and I love that game, I love you Dirt Rally 1, but I cannot recommend getting that, because Dirt Rally 2 just has double the content and it's almost just the same game with some updated graphics. And then number 1, Forza Horizon 4. What a great simulation racing game. I mean, just look at these images. When you look up simulation on Steam, this is the first title, and it makes sense. Yes, I am kidding. Chill your buttocks. Number 1, best deal, hands down, Assetto Corsa. This game is still the most popular sim racing game, if not iRacing. Definitely for its price, with the humongous amount of mods created by the community. There, you can drive for fucking ages, and all you spend is €3.99. I mean, come on. Also, whenever I have people over and let them try out the sim rig, I must put them in the Assetto Corsa, because it just has the most intuitive force feedback. You can really feel the weight of the car and the weight transfer very well. The game unmodded might not look the best, but there's just so much you can do with this game, so for PC gamers this is the one. Multiplayer races, there's a lot of availability. You can also do stuff like drift and just cruise around, but do not go to this for nice clean races that people take very, very seriously. Although there is of course the sim racing system that organizes such races, so yeah, if you just had €4 to spend, you can still do everything in sim racing that you would want to do. So there it is. Tell me how wrong I am for scoring, rating all these games the way I did. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will! Of course, besides from just the base games that are in Steam Summer Sale, there's a whole bunch of DLC on sale, but I think it's quite obvious, like if you like one of these games and you already know the games, just get the DLC if you want it. Thanks for watching. If you like sim racing content, then don't forget to wash your armpits and look both ways when crossing the street.